Today on Open Minds UFO Report, rocker Tom DeLong says he will be the conduit for UFO disclosure. A Philadelphia witness videotapes a cross-shaped UFO, and a documentary provides new evidence for a famous military UFO case. Your Open Minds UFO Report starts now. Hello and welcome to the Open Minds UFO Report. My name is Alejandro Rojas. Rock and roll superstar Tom DeLong has been talking a lot about UFOs lately. Although he has discussed his UFO interest with the media for years, he has been making headlines lately because he has left the band he's famous for, Blink-182, and has now focused his career on his fascination with the UFO mystery. A mystery he says he has been given special insight into by government insiders. In a recent interview with KLAS, investigative reporter George Knapp, DeLong talked to Knapp about the transformation of his professional life into a UFO-centric multimedia pursuit. As KLAS wrote, he is now all in on UFOs and has risked everything in the pursuit of the truth. The answers behind the UFO mystery are a topic DeLong takes very seriously.
I didn't walk off that stage so I can go chase a monster down a rabbit hole and look like a fool. I'm not an idiot, you know. I'm dealing with something that's much bigger than me, much more complex, and frankly, it's probably the most important thing I've ever done in my life, even if it sounds like the tinfoil hat, little green men kind of conspiracy theory.
In order to get his message out, DeLong created To the Stars, Inc. Their website describes the company as an independent production company built on transmedia storytelling experiences that reach across music, entertainment, licensing, and publishing. The company recently published a science fiction book titled Secret Machines Chasing Shadows, written by DeLong and best-selling author A.J. Hartley. It is the first of 6 books, and an animated film based on the books is also in the works. The book is described as the first book in the multimedia Secret Machines franchise that will reveal fascinating secrets surrounding the true, well-documented events of unidentified aerial phenomenon. Although the book is fiction, DeLong says he is in contact with government insiders that have been revealing to him the truth behind a government conspiracy related to keeping UFO information from the public. He found these insiders through fans of his music that worked for a defense contractor affiliated with Area 51. He told Knapp, "Not only do I know for a fact that there are groups, high-level groups within the DoD and national security divisions of our country, not only do I know it is real, you know, I am starting to get a clear picture of why it is kept secret." DeLong says one of his insiders told him, "We found a life form." He says that conversation changed his life.
And I was told there were crashes. And we took that, probably got pretty freaked out, pretty scared. We scurried it away, created what they call a pickup game of counterintelligence to keep people away from asking hard questions that we didn't know the answers to. And we created this crash program, much bigger than the Manhattan Project, much bigger than Apollo, to figure out how this stuff worked and how to build our own defense system against it should there be more.
According to DeLong, the government had originally planned to slowly release the information to the public, but never did. Instead, they have disseminated disinformation and have ridiculed the topic in order to keep people off of the trail of what's really going on. He says over time he will be releasing more information about what he has learned. As for why he was chosen to be the one to release the information, DeLong says it is because he has a large audience of younger people, and now the time is right. The government has backed itself into a corner in regards to UFOs, and now they need some way to get the information out. A witness in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, reported watching and videotaping a cross-shaped UFO, according to a report submitted to the Mutual UFO Network known as MUFON. The witness and his wife were traveling to the Food Truck Fest at Taproom and 19th in Philadelphia at 5:45 p.m. on April 16, 2016 when the incident occurred. After parking their car, they began walking to the event when the reporting witness said his wife made a comment about the moon. The witness says he looked up and noticed an object hovering in the sky. This was in the broad daylight with not a cloud in the sky, the witness wrote. My wife and I both watched it hover for about 1 minute before it appeared to first come down lower from the sky. That is why we got excited, because it went from hovering to moving downward slowly. Then it stopped again and we got more excited. Then it changed directions and started moving southeast slowly, and then it stopped again. The witness then began recording the object on his cell phone. It stayed stationary for a bit. The sun was bright and was hitting my cell phone screen, and I could not tell if I was actually pointing my camera in the right direction. So I used the moon, which was to the right of the object, as a reference. The object then began to pick up speed. The object started moving east and picking up speed. This is when I put my cell phone down because I had to see this with my own eyes. As it moved further east, it started moving faster and faster, and we could tell this object was large. The object moved so fast that we eventually lost sight of it. I think we're excited to see one, this time in broad daylight. The witness estimated the object to be 10 to 15,000 feet in the sky and described its strange shape. It definitely had a shape to it which appeared to look like a jack, but maybe with 4 sides and not 6. My wife drew a picture of the shape of what it looked like to us from our point of view. Pennsylvania MUFON field investigator Theodore Bloch investigated and closed his case as an unknown. Bloch wrote, the witness described himself as an amateur astronomer, familiar with sky objects generally and with flares and drones, which he himself pilots at times. Bloch continued, the witness was adamant that the movement characteristics of the sighted object could not have been a Chinese lantern or drone. Not everyone agrees. Quite a few commenters online feel the object is definitely a drone. They point to the similarity between the witness's drawing and the shape of a popular drone known as the DJI Phantom. 2 former military radar technicians have come forward to say a UFO was caught on radar and seen from the control tower of a U.S. military base in the UK that housed nuclear weapons. They make these claims in a new documentary called UFOs and Nukes, The Secret Leak Revealed. As the title implies, the documentary makes the argument that UFOs have an interest in nuclear facilities. It backs up this supposition with government documents and military witnesses who claim to have been present when UFOs were seen near nuclear weapons or nuclear storage areas. The documentary is the culmination of years of investigation by UFO researcher Robert Hastings, author of the book UFOs and Nukes: Extraordinary Encounters at Nuclear Weapons Sites. The incident in which the radar technicians were involved took place at Royal Air Force Base Bentwaters. RAF Woodbridge is nearby and the Rendlesham Forest lies between them. At the time, both bases were leased to the U.S. military. The UFO incident began in the early morning of December 26, 1980. Lights were seen in the forest and 2 security policemen went to investigate. They reported coming upon an object with strange lights. One of the men approached the object and described it as a triangular craft hovering above the forest floor. After watching it for a few minutes, it moved up to the treetops and then shot off at a very fast speed. A couple of nights later, the lights came back. This time, skeptical of the earlier UFO reports, Deputy Base Commander Charles Halt took a group of security policemen with him to investigate. They reported seeing a red light shaped like an eyeball move through the forest. It then split into 5 separate dish-shaped objects and they all flew off. Soon after, they saw another dish-shaped object fly towards them. It stopped hovering above them and shot a laser-like beam down by their feet. The beam only lasted a few seconds. When it turned off, the UFO moved towards the weapons storage area. Over the radio, Halt could hear security personnel reporting that the object beamed the laser-like light into the bomb depot. According to the documentary, at the time, RAF Bentwaters was the largest American tactical nuclear bomb depot in Europe. In a recent interview on Open Minds UFO Radio, Hastings said back in 2006 he had taken notice that there was no testimony from air traffic controllers as to whether the object allegedly seen by Halt and the security personnel at RAF Bentwaters was caught on radar. He then conducted research to find who would have been in the RAF Bentwater control tower at the time. He eventually found them, and their testimony is quite startling. They tell their stories for the first time in the documentary and report not only catching the object on radar, but they also saw it, and it was like nothing they've ever seen before. The men's names are Jim Carey and Ike Barker. In the documentary, Carey recalls catching the object on radar the night Halt was in the forest. He said, "I was just sitting there and I happened to see a dot come on the scope, and it just went one dot in the beginning and another dot, and it was gone." The scope represented 120 miles, so crossing the screen so quickly indicated an object traveling at a very fast speed. All of a sudden, here it come back across again, Carey recounted. It went 1, 2, and then an immediate right-hand turn and came right towards the base. I just said, that can't be one of ours. No jet at that speed can make an immediate right-hand turn. Just absolutely phenomenal. Barker agreed. It's not like any radar target I have ever seen. When the sweep would hit the target, you would have the entire back of it would be like a solid line. Traveling at an extremely high rate of speed, it passed over the control tower and then it stopped. I've never seen anything in my life like that maneuverability that happened with this object, Barker continued. At this point, the men were able to get a good look at the object. Barker described it as orangish in color. He recalled, "It sort of popped into my mind at the time that somebody is flying a basketball out here. There were lights around the center of it, but it wasn't like running lights or navigational lights. It was more like portholes, and you were seeing the light from the inside coming out. It wasn't flashing lights or anything. It hovered momentarily, reversed its course, and went back out at a high rate of speed." As spectacular as this sighting sounds, the documentary goes on to present documents obtained from the former Soviet Union that show similar events happened there. The amount of evidence in the form of documents and eyewitness testimony that is presented in the documentary makes a strong case for the UFO phenomena, as well as the possibility that these things are interested in our nuclear weapons. That's your Open Minds UFO report for today. You can find these stories and more at openminds.tv. We post fresh UFO news daily. You can also follow us on Twitter at OpenMindsTV, and you can find us on Facebook. The 25th International UFO Congress was a great success, and DVDs of the lectures can be purchased at our online store. They can also be viewed on our video portal, an online streaming service. For one low price, you can view an archive of lectures from past UFO Congress events, and more videos are being added regularly. Our store and our video portal can be found at openminds.tv. Let us know if you enjoyed today's episode by liking the episode on YouTube and leaving us your comments in the section below. You can also download our podcast, Open Minds UFO Radio, on iTunes or at openminds.tv/radio. Thanks again for joining us today. For OpenMinds.tv, I'm Alejandro Rojas.